Hey guys, Andrew here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at what is actually the purpose of subnetting. So before we get into breaking down IP addresses and looking at subnet masks and the binary conversions and the hex and the decimal and all the different facets, if you will, of subnetting, let's actually look at why we subnet. What's the purpose of this? So imagine, right, you're at home and you're going to connect out to the internet. So we're going to draw a little a cloud here, and we're going to call this cloud the internet. Now, for the sake of argument, we're going to assume that all the internet packs into this little tiny cloud here. Now, obviously, it's just a small representation, but you get the idea. So we're going to, we have our internet, and usually we have some type of home router system, right? So usually at home, we have, a little Wi-Fi router here. So let's draw my little Wi-Fi router. It's got some antennas coming off the top of it. And then it's usually got maybe some type of connection to, I don't know, maybe we got a cable modem here. All right, so we'll call this thing a little cable modem. Draw a little box here. Okay, and then that's going to go out to the internet, which is usually going to be attached to our ISP, right, our internet service provider. So we got our home connection here, and let's say we've got our, you're on your computer here. All right, I'm going to draw a little laptop. And our computer is, we're going to make it Wi-Fi, right? And it's going to connect out to this network here. And let's say we're trying to go to YouTube. All right, and YouTube is a part of Google. All right, and is a subsidiary of the Google company. So let's just say we go out to the internet, and eventually we make our way over here to YouTube. So we're looking at a classic network, and something that many of you are familiar with, right? If you're watching this video right now, you are on your computer, you are probably over a Wi-Fi, maybe a wired connection, so maybe you have a direct connection to this guy. Maybe you're at work or at school, and you're part of a larger corporate or organizational network. But the point remains that over here, right, on this side of the world, at home, you are part of a network, all right? And then you're going to have, there's a connection here between your router and going out to your ISP, which is part of another network, all right? And then the internet is actually just an interconnection of many different devices, bringing us from one network to another, eventually bringing us over here to Google. All right. So we're at Google's network, all right, and each step along the way we move from one network or one location to another. And we'll see as we work through our networking series here and our subnetting series that we'll have many different types of devices, but two main devices that are going to be making our connections. We're going to have a switch, all right, this device here with a whole bunch of little switch ports on it that our computers can plug into. And we're also going to have a router, all right, this device that is going to connect all of our devices on a given network and take us from one network to another, all right? So we can have one network over here and another network over there, all right? So we're going to be able to move from one network to the next. And I illustrate this because this is one network, and it's going to logically contain a bunch of devices inside of it, all right? And then we've got another network that's going to logically contain our connection going out to the ISP and facilitate our connection to our home, all right? But we may also be sharing this with other homes in different areas, all right? So there might be a home here, and there might be another apartment complex down there, and the ISP may have multiple connections on its own network to facilitate its needs. And then all the different ISPs and companies that exist inside the, on and off the internet, they're going to have their own networks. And then Google is going to have their own network. And then really what we're looking at here is an interconnection of multiple networks, or just like as the internet, an interconnection of multiple different networks. All right, so Andrew, what was the point of all that, right? You just told me that we have a bunch of different networks here. We have a bunch of different computers on our network. We might have a home network taking us out to the ISP, which takes us out to the internet, which brings us over to Google, and then brings the traffic back again. But what does that have to do with subnetworks? So let's try a different example here, where instead of just looking at the different networks that we're accustomed to, let's look at more of an organizational approach. So most of you probably know what Starbucks or any other coffee shop might be. And so let's say you're taking a trip over here, and we are at Starbucks. All right. And you're sitting down inside Starbucks, right, on your laptop. And again, you're out on the Wi-Fi network, all right? And at Starbucks, there is an open Wi-Fi that you can attach to. So there's this open Wi-Fi network that allows you to get out to the internet, right? And this is, again, one network, just for the use of open Wi-Fi. But Starbucks doesn't just have an open Wi-Fi. Starbucks has many other systems inside of it. So each location might have inside of it a POS system. Now it's not a piece, it's a point of sale system. All right, so there might be a point of sale system running inside here. That's probably going to have a network connection. Starbucks also has network connections on its coffee makers. So each coffee maker actually, each brewing machine will have a network connection for updates and network connectivity and management, and then it may integrate back into that point of sale system. In addition, we might also have an HVAC system coming off of here. All right, so a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system may exist off of the Starbucks network. So, and these are just 4 examples, right? We have an open Wi-Fi for the customers. We have an HVAC system for our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Maybe your coffee makers or point of sale system. Oh, I don't know. There could be a link back to the corporate network. Right, so the corporate network might have a link back somewhere, which that might go out over the internet, right? So we might go out to that internet again, and then back to another corporate location, all right? And Starbucks has many different networks, and many organizations have many different networks. Your school, for example, will have many different, a school, for example, will have many different networks in it. And each of these networks has a different purpose, all right? And imagine if we put our HVAC system, our coffee, our point of sale system, and our corporate network, along with the open Wi-Fi, all on one giant system, all right? If this all existed in one place, well, this would pose a big security risk, right? We would have our point of sale systems accessible directly by some random person on the open Wi-Fi, all right? And Starbucks keeps their coffee recipes secret. So then I could just go in and steal their coffee recipes, right? And there are other security measures that we would put in place to prevent this, but by segregating our networks into separate entities, so we have an open Wi-Fi, an HVAC, a coffee, a point of sale system, making each of these a separate network or a sub-network would allow us to better secure and better manage our devices. So that really brings us into why are we using these sub-networks, all right? And it's really to better manage our networks, to understand where the traffic is flowing, and to easily identify that a computer on the open Wi-Fi is going to be associated with one network, and then a HVAC controller will be on a different network, all right? And if we went into troubleshooting, or if we went into cybersecurity, or any application systems, when we're working at Starbucks, we know exactly, what network is associated with which facility. So that wraps us up in this video, just giving us a brief overview of why we're subnetting in the first place. All right, and now we're going to start moving on and looking at the basic rules of communication. So just as I may have a conversation one-on-one with someone or with a group of people, or I may send a message out to everyone that I know and everyone else that's listening. We have different rules of communication when working with human interaction, and we have different rules of communication when we work with computer interaction. So we'll see you guys in the next video.